Good morning and welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons. Sorry, I'm a little late this morning. Uh, have you ever had to negotiate one of those online doctor's appointments to get just something simple, it's a nightmare. Okay, they think it's for your convenience. And oh my God, we've got a landline telephone, we've got this telephone, we've got this computer, and they all had to coordinate. It was just don't worry, it's nothing. Uh, Nothing major. It's barely something minor. But that's why I'm late. That's why I'm late this morning. Anyway, uh, I titled today's talk, I'm a Magician, Do I Have to Get a Job? And first of all, your job is being a magician, okay? Whether that's going to put a roof over your head, um, I'm sorry, anybody that can put a roof over their head is a magician of some kind already, okay? So I tip my hat to anyone that can do that. Um, but here's what I have to say. Do I have to get a job? And um, it's in a book. It'll be an upcoming book uh, from the good folks at Schiffer. And in case you missed it many years ago, it was called Homemade Magic. Um, but one of the chapters is, do I have to get a job? The first, this I'm quoting myself here from The Magic of Aleister Crowley. The first task of the magician is to master his or her immediate environment. On the mundane plane, this means the ability to provide materially for yourself and your family, if that's your situation, in such a manner as to allow you to also pursue your spiritual disciplines. This is no mean task. And I doff my magical cap to anyone who can achieve such a lifestyle. Okay, excuse me just for a second because I have to clear a frog in my throat. In 1993, I was sitting in my underwear at my computer typing away at a new book when Jean-Paul, our son, who's still with us, living with us at the time, noticed how fast I was typing and suggested I should apply at a local employment agency and easily get a few temporary office jobs. I told him that such agencies didn't want fat, middle-aged men, but that I'd think about it. Properly shamed into action by my own son, and to prove my inherent incapacity to secure honest work. Got to remember, I'd been a professional musician since I was 14. 1993, boy, gee, I was an old man, okay? Hadn't really been prepared for any kind of honest work. I gave up the music in around 1972 or 3 and been struggling ever since just to keep a roof over our heads. And I had started writing and did some work with Alan or Christopher Hyatt. But still, it was pretty much of a struggle. It still is. But I digress. I decided I'd at least give it a try. I put on a suit and tie and hopped on my little motor scooter. I had a little Honda. I called it my Harlette. And I was so fat at the time. I was pushing 300 pounds. And when I sat on that little motor scooter, it almost disappeared under me. It looked like I was driving down the street with a motor scooter up my ass. But I digress. To the nearest agency. It was a remedy temp, they called it at the time. I thought that was pretty telling. To my surprise, they were absolutely thrilled at my typing speed and downright giddy over my mastery of the English alphabet and the fact that I could speak in complete sentences, at least most of the time. They immediately signed me up and sent me off to a job in a posh office building in Newport Beach. The company was a small person branch office of a commercial real estate firm that negotiated on the behalf of tenants in the process of securing new facilities. I didn't understand a thing about the business, but I soon discovered I could type everyone's letters and organize their files and generally manage the office while half asleep. And still have about 5 hours a day left over to quietly sit in my cubicle and secretly work on my next book. And as I recall, the next book at that time was the book that is still a big thing in my life, The Tarot of Ceremonial Magic. This was about the time I was creating the tarot deck too. Everyone was happy with my work, so after a month or so, they bought me from the temporary agency and made me part of the family. I couldn't believe my good fortune. I was actually being paid each day to write my own books. The company was doing well also, too good, in fact, that we were soon acquired by a much larger and more celebrated commercial real estate company. I feared, I was terrified every day. I was terrified that I wouldn't be able to keep up this charade, I called it, for long under a real company, okay, under a real new management and a serious, big company. It was the coal company at the time. But before I could be found out, the new company was required by an even larger and more celebrated global real estate institution. I and my 5 old bosses, the guys I was typing letters for, moved into a gleaming new office building overlooking the Newport Beach Back Bay. I had to wear a suit and tie every day, or a jacket and white tie. Not white tie, but a white shirt. It was a serious corporate thing. You couldn't even wear a colored shirt. It had to be a white shirt. A white shirt and tie every day on that motor scooter. As luck would have it, the new organization was so big that nobody knew exactly who I was or what I did there. Now, I still typed up a few letters and did some filing for my pals from the old company, but for the most part, I became quite invisible. I had no supervisor, and I had no supervision. Every day for the next 9 years, I arrived to work dressed smartly in the obligatory white shirt and tie. Every day for the next 9 years, I expected to be unmasked as an imposter and fired. I wrote 6 books in those 9 years. And Magic of Thelema, Tarot of Ceremonial Magic, My Life with the Spirits, Angels, Demons, and Gods of the New Millennium, Accidental Christ, and Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. Now, it's a good thing that I had a job, because as many books as I've written, And as much as I write and enjoy writing, and it's my passion and it's my great work, it really doesn't, writing occult books really doesn't keep a roof over one's head. Okay. Eventually, because of my exemplary work habits, I was always busy. I arrived early in the morning and I left late in the night or late in the afternoon. But mostly because of my silver hair, which made me look incredibly distinguished and competent. I was asked by the director of the accounting department, who regularly had me read her tarot cards. She asked me if I'd make time in my busy day to help the firms handle the firm's checks and bank transfers, along with the necessary documentation. It was easy, okay? It was totally easy, but it was, and I couldn't embezzle or anything like that, but it was a lot of money. Okay, these are like skyscrapers in Dubai, things like that. Okay, this was finally starting to look like a real job, and indeed, my last couple years within the firm actually gave me the opportunity to do some honest work and assuage a bit of my guilt. I confess, however, that I was somewhat relieved when the company ultimately merged with the largest firm of its kind in the world, and I saw my opportunity to take, as it were, early retirement. In 2003, I put on my modest parachute, stepped out of the corporate airplane, and plunged into this phase of my life as a full-time Lon. Since 2003, I've been home all day long. As much as we love each other, Constance and I have only discovered we can occasionally get on each other's nerves. I'm sure nothing in my habits. One morning she woke me up and said, "Let's play monastery." And that's what we did. And that was the next chapter in the book. Now, I know I've shared that with you, before, but I thought I would revisit it this morning. Especially, and now we got to go run some errands. The day's just been a crazy day. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little Saturday morning cartoons. I'll preach to you tomorrow for Sunday school. Until then, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.